So, something I'm noticing, first of all, doing church online, I love that they have that option. One thing I'm noticing here, though, is that I'm seeing a format that I've seen before attached to a name I've never seen before. And just by the look of his, like I'm not gonna click off of this, but by the look of the first 3 seconds, it just feels like the same. And as artists, we're tempted to make the same things as others. Either we see it working, or it's just like it's become a style in its own. Yo, this is a nice camera, dude. It's sleek. I like it. I like it. This one's pretty cool too. Really cool, actually. Really cool. I just have to understand. These are 2 different cameras for 2 different, like, you feel me? Like, reasons. Like, this is like details. This is like overall environment, atmosphere. This is beautiful. And then this is intimate. Handheld intimate. Like, this is intimate. Not as much detail. You don't need it when you're like, at least I don't think. But because this one, you'll see my pores. This one, like, I look like fairy tale dreamily. Anyways, I'm not clowning him or anything. This is for me. When I feel like, dang, like my videos look different, which is a good thing. But to me, it's like, okay, like, this is why I'm not blowing up. It's because I'm not following the blueprint, or like I'm not doing it right. There you go. What everyone else is doing is right. Why can't I just do what they're doing? Why am I, that's what it feels like. But then I see someone who is doing it right, and I don't get any personality from it. I don't know this guy, so it's just a reminder, like, no, do it the way you're doing it. It has your personality all over it, your style all over it. Doing it just right, bro. And this is nothing, again, against him. It looked interesting. I will say, Moments That Memories, I like that. It's just the video, I don't get his style from it. There's this guy who bought a boat. Oops, there are people sleeping. Oh my gosh. There's this guy who bought a boat and all that, and like found love and all that. And there's this other guy, Finn, I think his name is. He actually went on that same boat with the guy I'm talking about. Now, I don't remember this guy's name, but I remember this guy. His editing, his filming, it felt imperfect. It felt like him. It felt like, okay, this could be polished more. But as I kept watching, it's like, first of all, this feels intentional. First of all, I don't think he'd ever want to change this. And this feels like a style of its own. Like this. So, excuse me. God made you uniquely you. God put ideas in my head that I didn't. For me to not pay those ideas any mind and instead do what everyone else is doing is honestly disrespectful, especially when I feel like I'm meant to inspire and restore people and make them feel like, no, it's not over. It was never over. You're not broken. You were never broken. Oh, dang it. I want the memories sound beautiful. It does. I want to watch it. The beauty of life in fire. Quietly turned. I love that. What memories are you creating today? Oh, this is a really good video. Now I remember this guy, actually. 5'6" only. It is gorgeous just to feel it. Oh, I like that. Okay. I do feel bad for saying what I said. Which is why, like, I had to give a compliment. But yeah, I like the premise. I do. What memories are you creating today? Literally, because that's what it is. Which is crazy to think about. I don't think I'm going to church, though. It's a lot. Not gonna lie, it's like, bro. I don't even get to, like it's so stimulating. I don't even remember the last sermon I went to. As in, like, when I went in person, I don't even remember what they were talking about. But the very first one, I definitely remembered that. It's like, I'm gonna be worried about the people there and, like, eyes. There's no right decision, I will say. Either works, but it was nice. And perhaps maybe that is his style. This is crazy. This is like, it sounds just like me.
I was committed to my training. Fast forward to my life now, and nothing's changed. I continue to train and push myself. It gives me a peace of mind, and it fuels my motivation to achieve and do more.
To achieve and do more. Sounds like me. Having idols, blah blah blah. Wanting to just do more. And like, I love, my goodness, whoever made this, dude.
Ultimately, what training has taught me is that I'm capable.
Also, this person believes in himself. Which, yes, you should believe that you can do anything. But I don't know, I just feel like my reasoning for believing that I can do anything is because that God wants us to be happy and fruitful and all the things. Anything's possible because of God. Anything's possible with God. Because that's the thing. What makes it different between, like, someone achieving all that there is to achieve and then being unhappy versus someone who achieved all their, and then they're fulfilled? What's the difference between that? So it's like, you did everything, but you didn't, you don't feel all the feelings there is to feel. You get me? Like, you didn't feel all the feelings your journey was supposed to make you feel, if that makes sense. It wasn't just a happy, sad thing. I was sad, now I'm happy. It doesn't work like that, which is crazy. You'd think it works like that, but it doesn't work like that. And there's a lot more emotions than that. There's hopeful, there's relief, there's relaxation, there's restoration, there's redemption, there's all these things, and then fulfillment, and then grinding out, and then all these things, bro, all these feelings that we miss out on because we're hustling. This feeling of trying, getting sad, this, that, it gets trampled by no, I'm just gonna come back stronger. And we don't ever feel these feelings. And so when we are stronger, it's like, okay, then what? Then we just keep this up. Then we just keep going. I don't know. I think there's just something about fulfillment that you have to allow yourself to feel sad and like you were knocked down and got the wind knocked out of you. Like you have to feel it. Don't just dwindle it down to blah 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 blah. I don't know what's it called and how to really explain it, but I just feel like the same person who ignores that they've been knocked down, they're really, really freaking sad, they feel like they're in a hole or in a rut, is the same person who ignores fulfillment and what really brings joy. I think those two people, those two actions come from the same person who has the same mindset, honestly. A person who won't accept failure, or just who doesn't have fun because they're failing, and their happiness is very conditional on outside instead of inside. Because there's no way being sad or being knocked down is okay. That's not okay. We have to get back. We get up. Stop being a P word. Stop. Come on, bruh. But I feel like once you ignore those outer feelings, like there's sad and then there's happy and then there's all these other feelings that, okay, not only are you sad but you're knocked down, not only are you sad but you're this. Once you start to deny all the other feelings outside of sadness or like related to sadness, then you start ignoring all the feelings related to happiness as well, because you've dwindled it down. I feel like you've dwindled feelings in general down to just happy, sad. You haven't acknowledged that it's more than that. I feel like you haven't acknowledged nuance. Now, I don't know if it's possible to not acknowledge nuance on one end of the spectrum and then acknowledge it on the other. So like when it comes to sadness, refuse to acknowledge that I'm depressed, refuse to acknowledge that I'm anxious, refuse to acknowledge that all these experiences that I used to like doing feel pacifying now. But then on the other hand, receive fulfillment, receive the slow mornings, receive fulfilling conversations or random conversations or random sightings. Like, oh my gosh, a giraffe sitting, bro. That's mad rare. That shows that he's in peace. That giraffe is like feels peace. Like, that's crazy. It's like, how do you accept one side of the spectrum without acknowledging the other side? And I feel like that was me, actually. That was definitely me, which is interesting. But then something strong enough happened for me to acknowledge all the feelings of sadness. Before, it wasn't okay to be sad, and sad is just sad, depressed is just depressed, if that makes sense. Whereas happiness had 15 different ways of showing up in my life. Sadness only showed up in like 2 ways or 3. Social anxiety when I'm presenting, depression, sad. But now there are just multiple ways to define sadness, multiple ways for sadness to creep up in my life in different ways, like, which is crazy. But my question is, how do you truly enjoy this side, happiness, and all that comes with it, if you don't even acknowledge
I believe everyone.
this side? Honestly, I had this same mindset where it's like something good would happen, but I knew something better could happen in the same way. Getting a 4.6, knowing, oh, what about 4.8? I should have just turned in that assignment, even though I was so drained and tired. I should have just no. So I don't think you get pure happiness without acknowledging that, because it's not a switch. We're not robots. So it's not just happy, sad, angry, bubble. No, it's like a million different ways for these feelings to show up in your life. Like there's a million ways to describe how you feel right now in the present. So if you don't acknowledge that these exist, like bittersweetness exists, then how do you really accept that? How do you even know what happiness is? How do you know what it means to feel relieved or proud, or because like I know some friends that are like even my dad, like it feels like there's only 5 emotions in his catalog. I don't want to judge him or anything, and I was the same way, literally, where it's like there's only 5 emotions in my book. And I talked about like us going to Fun Spot with my little sister, and he was like, I had so much work to do today though, like blah blah blah. It's like, and he'll do that a lot of the times, where it's like, this is a happy moment. I mean, at least some of it's happy, right? And he won't acknowledge that, because it wasn't all happy, it wasn't all good. He wasn't all, maybe at the end of the hangout, him bringing my sister back to her mom, maybe that's the part of things that really stressed him out. But he won't acknowledge that, okay, the day was amazing, but this part, but what I'm saying? Acknowledge all of it, but because I don't want to keep talking about him, so I'm gonna use me. Because I only like a way to define my emotions at some point in time was like 5 different: happy, sad, angry, like literally the movie Joy. What's the movie? Inside Out. There you go. Literally, that's it. 5 emotions, and because one feeling tramples the other, then it's sad. There could have been happy moments in there, but because I don't know, I feel the sadness more, it was a sad moment. No. Look at a color wheel. There's not just the colors of the rainbow. There's a lot more, and I feel like once you acknowledge that there's a lot more, you'll allow yourself to be happy and sad at the same time, for the same reasons. It won't just be, oh, I'm graduating, let's go, I'm happy, ha ha ha, anyways. Or, oh, I'm graduating, I'm really sad. There's like a lot of different emotions in there, and I feel like that's where you find happiness, or like fulfillment and peace, and all these things that define happiness. Like, whereas if you're in a different space, you won't define this quiet moment as peace. You'll define it as boring. If that makes sense. I feel like happiness is found in the nuances. It's not just a definitive moment. I feel like you think it is. You think the definitive moment that is the graduation, but then the graduation ends. It only lasts that day, or those following months, maybe even that following year. The whole year you're like, dang, I graduated, but then what, right? But if you acknowledge that more feelings exist that can be good, like that define happiness, like peace can be one of those things, joy, appreciation, like all these other words that also, then you'll realize, oh my gosh, I just feel like then you'll realize most of my days are good. Most of my moments are pretty good, pretty solid. But if you say the only happiness only exists in triumph, in progression, or achieving, how much of your life do you actually like get to those milestones though? Isn't it mostly the process, the journey? So then what? So okay, boom. There are probably like 5 major points in our lives where it's like we're getting some type of trophy, some diploma, something, a ring. So if that's happiness, if that's meeting someone new, if that's happiness, and those are the only things. You see what I'm saying? That bar is set so high that most of your life won't be enough to be like, okay, that made me happy, that was cool, that was peaceful. Most of your life just won't be enough because the bar for happiness is achievement, this, that. Like, it's empty, bro. It really is the journey. Like, learning something new can be something that you like, something you appreciate. Meeting someone, having a good conversation. Genuinely. And I'm being taught that as well. How some of these feelings that I just listed on, some of these things felt better than receiving funding. Felt better than low-key passing funded accounts. Like, who knew, right? Who freaking knew? You think, yo. So don't fail to acknowledge nuances. God is in everything. God has, what is God? The gifts. God's fruit of the Spirit. There's not just one, by the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 fruits of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, yes, self-control. There's not just one. Outward manifestation of the Holy Spirit working in a believer's life, indicating spiritual growth and a closer relationship with God. That's lovely. That's lovely. But yeah. I just wanted to say that. Here's the focus. Yeah. Because this film is making me think. So I'm gonna. They're live right now, I'm pretty sure. Oh, at 9. Okay, that's fair.
It's a creative outlet. Albert Einstein once said, "Creativity is intelligence having fun."
Facts.
For me, that outlet has always been filming. There's a nostalgia to 90s story. Let this be a reminder. You can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. Or appreciating the small things in life. As the Italians would say, dolce fare niente.
I thought this was a film. This is actually like, I thought this was like an actor that the cinematographer or whatever, director, like got on board. But no, this is literally him. And I realized that somewhere along, like right here or something. But
Don't worry, I won't be holding you for much longer.
this was beautiful. Who helped me?
If there's one thing I learned from this place, it's that happiness comes from appreciating the small things in life. As the Italians.
That's the thing. They're seen as the small things in life, but they literally are what define it. That's what I'm saying. It's like when you define life as the big wins, the big this, the big that, the big this, then you define everything else as small. Small wins, the small conversation. That's literally a part of life. What would life be if you didn't speak to anyone? And it can be about anything. That's what I'm... That's literally, that is life. It is impacting people. It is talking to people. It is changing, restoring people. It's all of that. All those so small. It's about the small things. It's about the walks in the park. What is life without those moments, though? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's how you define life, I guess. It's dependent on how we define what life is. But very dependent on that. It's very interesting. If you decided to define life as the successes, the fails, and stuff like that, and nothing in between, then yeah, you're gonna see this and be like, yeah, it's about the small things. Literally, it's about the cup of coffee. I mean, how would you enjoy your coffee? On the way to work. Oh, I see. Because the coffee is just the fuel to get your work done, if that makes sense. Like someone will say, like, oh, a coffee, it's about the small things. It's about a coffee in the park or a tea in the park. And then I just wonder, and I understand it, but I just wonder, then how else would you enjoy your coffee or tea? Well, on the way to work, I drink it on the way. I drink it in the car. I do this, I do that. Because, I drink it while I'm studying. I drink it because it's not the coffee itself. It's not the time itself. It's about getting the work done, and this helps me get the work done. It's about waking me up so I can get the work done. It's about this so I can get the work done. And life is just, it's work. And so then people, just like myself, slow down and then realize the cup in the coffee in the park that seem aesthetic is actually, yo, this works. Why do I feel more peace? I was drinking tea. Like, why do I was drinking tea, not really watching anything, but I was just drinking it. And I was like, why do I feel more peace? Why? Because it's meant to be enjoyed. Anyways, and it's not the small, like, a cup of coffee isn't a small thing. It's just one of those things that are a part of life. It's not, oh, time away, or, because it's like, oh, time away from what? The main events in your life. So, like, work, this, that. It's like, bro, why can't it be just another thing, a part of the timeline in your day, in your life? Very interesting. Very interesting. That I like, obviously we all say, oh, it's the small things, but this is the first time where I'm like, why does it have to be considered a small thing? Then what are the big things, huh? The wins, there you go. The feelings of happy, and then frustrated, and then, like, as if this is inside out, like we only feel 5 things. Like, no, sometimes we feel 2 at the same time. I want to watch that movie. There are mad movies to watch. Alright, that Mexican movie where they just rounded up people and just brought them back to Mexico, even if you were a citizen. Crazy. And then Inside Out, and then all these movies, bro. Let's do it.